To live in accordance with circumstances is to live in peace. Live with the way things come. This life is only a temporary lodging. Don't calculate so fiercely. That line lands like an honest hand on a very real kind of exhaustion many people carry. The more we live, the more we worry. The more we plan, the more uneasy we become. Even before the morning has properly arrived, the mind has already run ahead into a day that hasn't happened. Work, money, other people's eyes. What if I fail? What if I lose it all? We haven't begun living, and already we're on guard. We haven't taken a full breath, and we're already weighing and measuring everything. This is one of the great illnesses of our time. We believe that if we don't calculate, we'll be cheated. If we don't hold tight, we'll lose. If we don't control, we'll fall into misfortune. And that very belief traps the heart in a tension with no exit. The pain is this: the more we calculate, the more tangled life becomes. The harder we grip, the more our hands ache. The more we demand certainty, the more the ground inside us turns unsteady. A careless sentence can ruin an entire day. A small disturbance can stretch the night into sleeplessness. Someone else advances one step, and the mind immediately compares, feels lesser. One thing doesn't work out, and we punish ourselves, chew on it, condemn ourselves in secret. Many people live their whole lives without ever tasting ease because they are always afraid tomorrow won't obey their plans, afraid of losing a job, of poverty, of loneliness, of being unrecognized, of being left behind. And because we're afraid, we calculate. Because we calculate, we cling. Because we cling, we suffer. People often think suffering comes from circumstances, from other people, from fate. But if you look closely, suffering begins inside. The mind insists that everything should follow its blueprint. Yet this life is impermanent by nature. We meet and we part. Things arrive and they leave. We gain and we lose. Like clouds moving across the sky, like ripples rising and dissolving. When you try to hold what cannot be held, weariness is guaranteed. Some people are brilliant at organizing their schedules, but have never learned to organize the mind. Some are exceptionally clever in strategy, yet have no inner place where peace can take shelter. Then one day, they realize they've traveled very far, yet can't say what they've been living for. This is where living with circumstances becomes necessary. Not as lofty philosophy, but as a lifebuoy for a sinking heart. To live with circumstances does not mean giving up. It does not mean leaving everything to chance. It means seeing clearly our limits within a vast stream of causes and conditions. It means knowing what belongs to our effort and what must be released. It means acting wholeheartedly in the present without imprisoning ourselves in the outcome. It means understanding that some things will not ripen until conditions are ready, and some things, no matter how much we want them, are simply not ours. When this is understood, the heart begins to breathe more slowly. The will stops bracing so hard. Life grows lighter. Bodhidharma is said to have pointed directly to the root. When the mind does not settle on anything, suffering has nowhere to cling. When the mind settles on gain and loss, victory and defeat, then no place is peaceful, because even in success there is fear of losing, and in failure there is self-torment. The journey toward peace is not primarily a matter of rearranging the outer world. It is learning to loosen the inner grasp. Cut back a portion of calculation and you add a portion of ease. Cut back a portion of craving and you add a smile. When you stop forcing life to obey you, you begin moving with life more softly, like water finding its way around stone, like clouds drifting past mountains. This path doesn't promise a life without storms. It offers a way of living, so storms do not carry you away. We suffer not because we lack, but because we mistake everything for something solid and lasting. So we clutch. This world comes and goes, gathers and disperses. Yet we live as if we must hold on to every relationship, every opportunity, every coin, every title. From that mistaken belief, calculation is born. Calculating to prevent loss, to surpass others, to guard against risks that haven't even arrived. The tighter the planning becomes, the tighter the chest becomes. The tighter the chest, the greater the fear. And the greater the fear, the more planning multiplies. A closed loop that exhausts us, even when nothing big is wrong. Bodhidharma's blunt clarity is that the root of suffering is the mind's attachment, its habit of dwelling on opposites, gain/loss, right/wrong, praise/blame. It becomes like a person standing in swirling water, desperately grabbing floating debris instead of releasing the grip and finding stillness. Each additional grip makes the heart race faster, the breath shorten, the head grow heavier. We imagine that planning carefully will bring peace, that preparing for every scenario will quiet the mind. In reality, the more we rehearse every possibility, the less rest the mind receives, because life does not run on our script. Life runs on conditions. Some things arrive when the time is right. Some things, when conditions are incomplete, break precisely because we force them. Many people calculate their whole lives for their children, for the future, for distant years, and forget the most urgent work, keeping the heart peaceful today. Some guard money so tightly they forget how to live. Some guard reputation so tightly they forget how to breathe. Some guard status so tightly they are terrified of making a mistake. The price is restless sleep, forced smiles, and a lingering anxiety that cannot name itself. Look deeper and you'll find fear under the calculations. Fear of poverty, fear of losing, fear of being left behind, fear of not being recognized, fear of losing control. Fear is a subtle kind of clinging. It convinces us that if we don't control everything, everything will collapse. But impermanence teaches the opposite. Because everything changes, no one can control it all. And once you accept that you cannot control it all, wisdom is not gripping harder. It is learning to release at the right time. To say, "This life is temporary," does not mean it is meaningless. It means it is not worth trading peace for endless anxiety. When you know it is temporary, you treasure what you have more tenderly. You live more fully in each moment, and you part more gently when it is time to part. Many people hear the phrase, and fear it means whatever happens, happens. a passive drifting. Others use it as a mask for laziness, calling it acceptance when it is really avoidance. Bodhidharma did not teach surrender of responsibility. He taught surrender of attachment. This difference matters. To abandon your part is defeat. To do your part fully while freeing the mind from bondage to outcome, this is maturity. Living with circumstances is the middle way, still walking, but with a lighter heart, still working, but with a clearer mind, still loving, but without grasping. It is not, I don't care about results, but I will be fully present with what I can do, and I will receive the result as it comes. When you understand this, a great tension dissolves. You stop living as a hostage to a certain future. You start living the life you're actually in. Someone asks, if I don't calculate, how can I succeed? Often that question rises from fear of being at a disadvantage. Yet how many times have the plans we were most confident about collapsed? And how many times did something unplanned open a new path? Living with circumstances does not oppose planning. It opposes clinging to plans. You may plan, but you do not make your worth depend on whether the plan succeeds. If it succeeds, you bow in gratitude to conditions. If it fails, you learn and adjust without cruelty to yourself. In work, this means fulfilling responsibility without contorting yourself for approval. In family, it means caring without forcing loved ones to live according to your blueprint. If they change, you rejoice. If they don't, you practice patience. This path does not make you cold. It makes you supple, so you don't break in hardship and don't break others with your expectations. A useful test. Are your calculations born of wisdom or fear? The body tells the truth. If you plan and your chest tightens, your breath shortens, your sleep suffers, fear is steering. If you plan and your breath remains even, your heart stays light, your sleep stays deep, wisdom is present. Much of our anxiety comes not from failure, but from wanting things to succeed too soon. We see a path and want it now. We see a chance and clutch it. We see a relationship with promise and pour our whole nervous system into it. But life does not run on our urgency. It ripens by conditions. Every result needs the right time, the right people, the right circumstances. Missing one, the outcome distorts. Forcing something before its season often purchases fatigue, injury, bitterness. Many things are good in themselves, but become burdens because we insist on them at the wrong moment. Waiting here does not mean idling. It means continuing to do your part, steady, sincere, without pushing the fruit to grow by force. You plant carefully. You water attentively. You cultivate your strength. The harvest arrives when conditions allow. Like fruit that drops when it is ripe. You can shake the tree, but you will bruise what you wanted to enjoy. Seeing life through conditions frees you from unnecessary self-blame and from resentment toward others. Not everything that fails today is a defeat. Sometimes a closed door is protection. Sometimes not yet is mercy. Even when conditions are favorable, The heart may remain restless if it does not know enough. Many calculations do not come from real need, but from a bottomless sense that we never have enough. We think a little more money, a little more status, a little more recognition, then we will finally feel safe. But the mind's threshold of enough keeps moving. Achieve one goal and it immediately invents another. Life becomes running without a finish line. Bodhidharma's insight is sharp. Suffering is not only in lacking, but in not knowing sufficiency. Knowing enough is not abandoning growth. It is refusing to trade peace for endless accumulation. You can still work, learn, improve, without measuring yourself by being ahead of others. You measure by inner steadiness. Not knowing enough makes small joys disappear. You have a decent meal, but your mind is already hungry for a feast. You have shelter, but your mind is anxious about a dream house. You have someone beside you, but your mind trembles over losing them tomorrow. When the mind keeps staring at what is missing, what is present becomes invisible. Knowing enough is turning your gaze back to what is here, not as self-consolation, but as clear placement of the heart. Each person's enough is different. Each season of life has its own measure. Chasing someone else's standard only breeds exhaustion. Human life is continually brushed by 8 winds: praise and blame, gain and loss, honor and disgrace, pleasure and pain. No one avoids them. The question is whether the mind is blown around by them. Those without inner roots tilt with every gust. A compliment lifts them for the day. A criticism crushes them. A gain brings pride and fear. A loss brings despair and anger. Life rises and falls with circumstance, never resting. Bodhidharma did not teach us to flee the winds or fight them. He taught us to stand still inside. Stillness is not numbness. You feel fully, but you don't surrender the steering wheel. Praise is seductive because it feeds the self. Blame hurts because it threatens the self. A wise person receives both with a clean hand. Take what is useful, release the rest. Keep the lesson, not the poison. Money itself is not the enemy. Attachment is. Some despise money and pretend they are above it. Others worship it and make it their only proof of safety and worth. Both distort the heart. To live with circumstances around money is to treat it as a condition. Earn it honestly, hold it wisely, use it appropriately. When money is in its proper place, it becomes a tool, not a chain. Work becomes heavy when we carry into it the need to prove ourselves. We fear mistakes, fear judgment, fear losing position. Bodhidharma's teaching is simple. Doing the work is not suffering. Clinging is. Clinging to outcomes, to praise, to identity. Do your part with full sincerity and clear attention. Let the result be a result. Learn without self-hatred. Succeed without arrogance. Fail without collapse. This is wholehearted but not stuck. No place wounds more deeply than affection because we slip from love into possession without noticing. We call it care, but underneath is fear of loss. Living with circumstances in love is learning to cherish without clutching. When a bond is alive, nourish it. When it has run its course, release it without hatred. Holding a depleted connection often isn't love. It's fear wearing love's clothing. Fear of loneliness, fear of change, fear of failure. True love does not chain. It allows change. It does not demand that another person carry the burden of your inner emptiness. Family is where our deepest habits show, because we drop our masks there. It can be refuge and training ground at the same time. Living with circumstances in family doesn't mean enduring everything silently. It means learning softer speech, slower reactions, clearer boundaries. Not every argument needs a winner. Not every emotion needs to become a weapon. Sometimes the most profound practice is pausing before you speak. Choosing not to throw the knife your mouth is holding. Bodhidharma offered a vivid image. Words are gifts. If you accept them, they belong to you. If you do not accept them, they remain with the giver. We forget we have this choice. We accept praise hastily to inflate the self. We accept blame painfully to punish the self. Then we carry those parcels all day and wonder why we're exhausted. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means listening without being owned. Accept sincere feedback as medicine. Let careless criticism pass like wind. Receive encouragement with gratitude, but don't build your house on it. Everyone enters seasons where life seems to turn its back. Work breaks down, love fractures, health declines, plans collapse. The mind's reflex is to panic, resent, ask, "Why me?" But asking that question inside agitation only deepens suffering. To view hardship through conditions is not fatalism, it is clarity. Some outcomes are the ripening of old causes, spoken words, actions, long-harbored states of anger or greed we didn't notice. If you only blame, you miss understanding. If you look for the lesson, hardship can become a quiet teacher, revealing what is misaligned, what must change, what really matters. The most painful part of hardship is often the mind's refusal to accept reality. One portion of pain is the situation. Another portion is resistance. When resistance softens, energy is freed, and wisdom has room to appear. Acceptance is not surrender. It is seeing clearly what is happening, so you can respond skillfully. A simple image holds the essence. The mind is like a lake. When the water is agitated, the moon's reflection looks crooked. The moon isn't crooked. The water is disturbed. Likewise, the world does not have to destroy you. The mind's agitation makes everything look distorted. Mindfulness is the way back to stillness, not as a mystical practice reserved for monasteries, but as a daily returning. Breathe and know you are breathing. Walk and know you are walking. Speak and know you are speaking. Listen and know you are listening. Add a single word, no, to ordinary actions, and the mind begins to come home. Stillness does not mean no thoughts. Thoughts still appear, like leaves on the surface of water. The difference is you don't jump into the water to chase every leaf. You see, you breathe, you let it pass. Over time, What once ruled you loses its power. Nothing teaches impermanence like illness. When we are healthy, we assume tomorrow will resemble today. A sudden pain or diagnosis wakes us. This body is a collection of conditions, not a possession under absolute control. Many people respond with fear and resistance, yet resistance multiplies suffering. The body may hurt, but the mind's struggle can double the pain. Living with circumstances here means caring for the body properly. Medicine, rest, nourishment, suitable movement, without turning illness into identity. You are not your diagnosis. A sick body does not require a sick mind. Impermanence is not only illness, it is aging, shifting roles, changing capacities. If you cling to a former version of yourself, suffering grows. If you accept each season and adjust your pace, dignity remains intact. When strong, you move quickly. When weak, you move gently. A slower pace is not lesser worth. It is simply another rhythm of life. Many pains come not from what we lack, but from what we refuse to release. A relationship that has run dry, a path no longer fitting, an expectation beyond human limits, an old image of ourselves. We fear letting go because we fear being seen as a failure, fear admitting we chose wrongly, fear the unfamiliar. But there is a difference between perseverance and stubbornness. Perseverance nourishes life. Stubbornness erodes it. A sign it is time to release is chronic strain. Not tiredness from effort, but tiredness from gripping. Gripping reputation, gripping roles, gripping control. To let go at the right time does not make you weaker. It makes you lighter and clearer. When the hand opens, it can hold what truly belongs to it. When the heart releases the past, it regains energy for the present. We often seek freedom outside. Financial freedom, freedom of time, freedom of choices. But deeper than all of these is inner freedom. Freedom from being pulled by praise and blame, by fear of loss, by the hunger to prove yourself. Bodhidharma's point is simple. What binds you is not other people, but the cords you tie yourself with. Fear of being judged, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being enough. When you see these cords clearly, they begin to loosen. When the mind stops clinging, there is nothing for the world to hook into. This is not coldness. It is maturity. You take responsibility for your inner state instead of handing it to the world. To live with circumstances is not to abandon life. It is to remain in life without being dragged through it. Do your part wholeheartedly. Release your attachment to how it must turn out. Know what is enough. Return to this breath, this step, this moment. Life will still have waves, but you won't have to drown in them. If you are tired from thinking too much, pause for a single breath. Remind yourself, not everything must be controlled. Not everything must be solved right now. Some things only need a softer grip, and the heart becomes lighter at once. And when the heart is light, the path ahead often opens in its own quiet, perfectly fitted way.